Cody Bellinger is batting 438 in spring training. I know it's only spring training, but he's batting 438. How can you not be intrigued by that? How can you not be intrigued by a former MVP hitting 438 who needs a big year? Who I've said multiple times, I think he will have a big year hidden behind Aaron Judge. Now, before I get into the Yankees, let me go over the projected lineup, and then we'll talk about each guy. But I wrote a little article today on fansided.com. You can check it out, fansided.com/author/Jay Nolan. But what I put together was my projected Yankees lineup based off the spring training lineups they've rolled out and based off just my overall opinion. When I have Jazz Chisholm Jr. leading off. I have Aaron Judge batting second, Cody Bellinger batting third, Paul Goldschmidt batting fourth, Austin Wells batting fifth, Dominguez batting sixth, Ben Rice at the DH spot. We'll talk about Ben Rice a little bit in depth today, why I think he could be a surprise star for the Yankees. Anthony Volpe at 8, and then Oswaldo Cabrera at 3rd, who I don't really love, but you don't really have options. Either him or Oswald Peraza. I think they're going to give it to Cabrera, who has a little bit more of a track record in the MLB. Not a great track record, but more experience. So this Yankees team trying to get back to the World Series in 2025. Now, the biggest question is who leads off. It's who leads off. Now, with Jazz leading off, if he gets on base, Judge will see a ton of fastballs. Jazz Chisholm Jr. is a threat to steal a base. Just last year, combined with the Marlins and the Yankees, he swiped 40 bags last year. And then after that, it makes sense to have Bellinger and Goldschmidt follow. You keep that lefty-righty threat. So, that halts the opposing team's bullpen plans. Right there. You got to do that. But Bellinger behind Judge could be his best interest. He struggled last season. He only hit 266, 18 home runs. But having the reigning MVP, the two-time AL MVP, hidden right in front, undoubtedly will, and I think should, improve Cody Bellinger's numbers from last season. So that's why I think it makes sense to have Bellinger hit behind Judge. We already know that Judge is hitting second, according to Aaron Boone. Bellinger, I think, following him makes the most sense. You get the switch hitter and Jazz up front, righty Judge, lefty Belly, and then the righty Paul Goldschmidt. Now, Paul Goldschmidt definitely lacks the power that he had in his prime, but in the after July 16th, after the All-Star break, Goldschmidt hit 271 with a 799 OPS. I'm not saying Paul Goldschmidt will be the MVP version that he was in 2022, but he's a significant upgrade over Anthony Rizzo. Significantly better upgrade. And in spring training so far, he's played in 5 games. Hasn't had much success. Hasn't hit a single home run in those 5 games yet. But, in his first 3 games of spring training, he was hitting 286, multiple RBIs, 429 slug percentage. He was doing pretty good. Obviously, the last 2 games haven't helped. But then again, spring training, and I think Paul Goldschmidt could do pretty well in this Yankees lineup. I'm not going to lie. But he has declined in the past few years, so I would be worried a little bit. But I don't think he'll have a worse year than he did last year, even at his age, even at 37 years old. And especially, like I said before, after the All-Star break, 799 OPS, 271 batting average. Now, Jason Dominguez batting 5th in this lineup that I put out there. Well, Austin Wells actually had 5th. Jason Dominguez I had 6th. Wells, you got to like, because Wells, let's look at Wells real quick. Wells had 103 OPS plus last year. I like the idea of Austin Wells hitting 5th. Left-handed bat, that, like I said, you want that righty-lefty or lefty-righty in this case. Lefty-righty, lefty-righty, lefty-righty. Austin Wells was a stud in the minors. He was an absolute stud. So if he translates his minor league success to the big leagues, Yankees have a great hidden catcher. I mean, across 3 seasons in the minors, he had an 846 OPS, 370 on base percentage with a 476 slug. We saw him hit leadoff the other day, which I also think could be an option for the Yankees, considering how much he gets on base. I mean, even though he hit 229 last year, like I said, still the 103 OPS plus, and then the on base percentage was 322. Not great, but still pretty good considering he hit 229. He draws a lot of walks. He had 47 walks last year. So I do like the idea of Austin Wells hitting leadoff, but in this lineup, I have him hitting 5th because I think Jazz, just being that threat to steal second, will let Judge see more fastballs. And we saw today in spring training, in spring training, one of the things you want to do is kind of get guys comfortable to where they're probably going to hit. And they had Jazz, Judge, and Belly in this lineup. So they had Jazz, Judge, and Belly 1, 2, 3 in today's order against the Pirates. So that's why I think Austin Wells will be hitting 5th for the Yankees. But you look at his numbers in the minors. I mean, they're off the charts. They're off the charts. I mean, in 2022, let's go over his numbers across 3 different levels, which is always a good sign. He sped up through the A level, A plus, and then double A, which we see better pitching in double A overall. So it's always a good sign that they're hitting well there. But across 3 different leagues in 2022, we had an 897 OPS, a 512 slugging percentage, a 385 on base percentage, a 277 batting average, and 20 home runs in just 90 games. That's intriguing. I know it's the minors, but he was also 22 at that time. And he's still pretty young. He's only 25 years old. So, listen, I'm not buying in that Austin Wells will be a superstar like some Yankee fans think he'll be. But I think he can be a good piece in this lineup. Second year in the bigs. Let's see what he can do. Let's see what he can put together. All right, that leads me to Jason Dominguez, who's the wild card in this lineup, in my opinion. And here's why. Listen, his defense sucks. His defense is questionable for sure. But he can make up for it with his bat. That's what he's here for. He's here for his bat. He's not here for his defense. And in his minor league career, 4 seasons, 102 stolen bases with an 816 OPS. Last year in 2024, only 18 games. So he did have minimal success, but it's only 18 games. He didn't get a chance to be an everyday player. Now he'll get his first chance to be an everyday player. I think Dominguez will do really well. And then not only that, Jason Dominguez in 2023, in just 8 games, I think it was 8 games. I don't want to be wrong. Yeah, 8 games, only 8. So you can't buy in too much, but he did have a 980 OPS in those 8 games. So he showed you in those 8 games that he can have success. Let's see what he can do. I think he's the wild card because if he becomes a threat in this lineup, it changes the entire complexion of the Yankees lineup. Now, let's talk about Ben Rice. I think Ben Rice, 26 years old, he's got to make his mark now. It's got to happen now, at least for Ben Rice. He's the best DH candidate right now. Last season, he slugged 7 home runs in only 50 games. 50 times 3, what is that? 150. So let's say you triple the amount of games he's in, triple the amount of home runs, maybe a little bit even more home runs. That's 21 home runs in 150 games. And then you look at his minor league numbers. His minor league numbers are off the charts. A 289 batting average, a 935 OPS. And just last year in AAA, he had 12 homers and 33 RBIs in just 30 games. 30 games, 33 RBIs in 30 games, and 12 home runs. You know how hard that is to do? Like, he killed it in the minors. So if Ben Rice can translate his minor league success to the major league level, we're going to start having a conversation when Giancarlo Stanton comes back. Like, do you even want Stanton to DH when you have Ben Rice going off the charts? Because I think it's a legitimate thing that Ben Rice might actually produce at a high level. I really do. I think Ben Rice could. Oswaldo Cabrera and Oswald Peraza, they will probably, before we get into that, let's talk about Volpe. Can we talk about Volpe a little bit? Volpe needs a big year. And offensively, defensively, he's great. His defense is the reason he's, still the starting shortstop for the Yankees. But in 2023, only a 209 batting average, 283 on base percentage. And 24, 243 batting average, 293 on base percentage. I'm not buying into his playoff performance. Only 14 games to hit 286, but you don't want to buy into 14 games. But I look at his minor league numbers, and even his rookie year when he hit 21 home runs, Anthony Volpe has potential in that bat. And he doesn't even need to do what he did in the minors. He just needs to hit 260 plus. He needs to have an on-base percentage over 330. And he will be a very good shortstop for the Yankees because of his glove. That's what it is. He's one of the best defenders, I would say, in baseball. No doubt about it. That's why he won a Gold Glove in his rookie year. But when you look at his minor league numbers, in 2021, his first minor league season, he hit 294 with a 1.027 OPS with 27 home runs and 86 RBIs. And that was in just 109 games. And then in 2022, A 249 batting average, yes, but an 802 OPS and a 342 on base percentage. That Anthony Volpe would be a very good player considering his elite glove. And he also had 21 home runs in just 132 games. And then he comes up to the bigs in 2023, starts the year, and he hits 21 home runs. So we know Anthony Volpe can do it, but it's all about consistency on the offensive side for Anthony Volpe this year. Oswald Peraza, Oswaldo Cabrera, whatever you can get out of them, you take it. You take it. You can't expect those two to produce. You just can't. But I want to talk a little bit about their number 2 prospect as of today, George Lombard Jr. Hit a bomb today. 2-run shot. And even 2 games ago against Houston, 1 for 2 again with a home run. I mean, what's not to love? Now in spring training, he's hitting 273 and 818 slugging percentage. I mean, George Lombard has all the potential in the world. He's only 19, so we're probably not going to see him for quite a while. But, I mean, he just cruised up the prospect rankings for the Yankees. And he's a great glove, great defender. You know, his father was in the bigs for a pretty long time. He's now a coach with the Detroit Tigers. But, I mean, just in general, I mean, George Lombard has all the potential in the world at just 19 years old. In 2023, he had his first minor league season, only 13 games because that's the year he got drafted. 311 batting average, 821 OPS. Then he flipped to 2024, just last year. Struggled. He struggled. But he has pop. Not pop, but he has speed. He had 39 stolen bases last year. He does have a little bit of pop in that bat. We saw it just these past 2 games. But, I mean, at 19 years old, you know, you can't expect a kid, even at the single-A level, to kind of just slug 20 home runs. But he showed you today, at 19 years old, he put in some muscle, put in the hard work, and it's paying off for him, at least in spring training so far, and he's now the number 2 prospect for the Yankees. So you got to love that. Now, pitching-wise, Luis Gil got some news today. He's going to be out for more than 6 weeks. He's shut down for 6 weeks. I don't think we're going to see Luis Gil to at least the summer. I would say, 6 weeks, you're shut down. He's going to go through a spring training routine, so probably another 6 weeks. That's 12. Some rehab starts. Probably add 3 weeks there. That's at least 15 weeks without Luis Gil. So that's why I'm saying summer. It's probably the time we're going to see him. Luckily, the Yankees kept on to Marcus Stroman because now Marcus Stroman will undoubtedly be in the rotation opening day. And also, luckily, the Yankees added Max Fried. So now they have 2 front-end starters. They have an ace 1 and probably an ace 2. They have a 1A and a 1B. Garrett Cole is going to be a Cy Young candidate as long as he's healthy. Max Fried, he will also be a Cy Young candidate as long as he's healthy. And then flip to your number 3, Clark Schmidt. He's pretty good. Clark Schmidt is a reliable starting pitcher now. Carlos Rodon, I know he sucked so far in spring training, but it's spring training. If you're going to, pitchers work on things in spring training. They work on things. So I'm not going to be too alarmed. Would you want him to succeed? Yes, you undoubtedly want Carlos Rodon to succeed in spring training. But it's spring training. I'm not worried. He put together a 16-win season last year. Yes, he had a 3.97 ERA, but Rodon's also due. I'm a big due guy, and I think Rodon is due for a big year. So let's see what Rodon can do in that Yankees rotation. And then Marcus Stroman. Marcus Stroman is great. Marcus Stroman was phenomenal in his first 12 games last year with the Yankees. He sucked in the second half. That's why he lost his rotation spot. Let's go over his numbers in his first 12 games of 2024. Stats in first. Come on, why did it die on me? All right, Marcus Stroman's numbers in the first 12 games of 2024. He had a 5-2 record with a 2.60 ERA. If you get that Marcus Stroman, even a little bit less, like a sub 3.5 ERA to Marcus Stroman, you're going to love it as your number 5. Your number 5. That'd be very good for the Yankees. And then Luis Gil comes back midseason. You can trade Marcus Stroman. Have Gil join the rotation. Bada bing, bada boom. I think Yankees are in a good spot. As much as I want to say that the Yankees aren't in a good spot because they lost Juan Soto and they, I think Gleyber Torres losing him kind of sucks now that you have Oswald Peraza and Oswaldo Cabrera as your candidates to be the third baseman. They still got a pretty good team and it's built on pitching. Devin Williams in the bullpen. Bringing back Tim Hill. You got Jake Cousins coming back mid-year. You got Luke Weaver still in that bullpen. The Yankees have one of the best bullpens in MLB. They have one of the best rotations in MLB, and they have Aaron Judge. Yankees will make the playoffs. Will they make the World Series again? I don't know, but it's a very soft American League. I mean, they playing probably the best teams in the American League. Majority of them are in the American League East. So if the Yankees can just win the AL East, it's going to give you a lot of confidence that they can get back to the World Series. So we'll see there. Boston Red Sox still a very good team. Toronto Blue Jays, they're right up there. I would say they're